Hello, my cores. So they have dropped their repackage of their Green Green album. So I obviously am going to be reacting to the two new songs that they have dropped, which is like Money, Money, Money. And I think the other one's like Pack It Up, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we're just going to go ahead and watch the visualizer for the first song. And then the other one, I think, is just going to be me listening to it, or I might look for like the lyric version if there is already like a lyric video, or not lyric video, but like a lyric color coded lyrics for it, just because I want to like obviously get like see what the lyrics are, like kind of analyze that, because again we want to see like how if it fits in a little bit more with the other songs from the album, or like if it's a completely new direction. But we're just gonna go ahead and watch slash listen. Luckily this has our like subs or lyric captions. Seeds. I got it already. Money is basically what you like. People. Let me pause already. Because like depending on like eras or whatever, different like different eras of like history, people have like used different things for currency. So like obviously like there's like fruit, seeds, grains. There was actual money, jewels, like pearls, like what's it called? Like rocks, like minerals, stuff like that. So I like how they kind of portray that at the beginning, with it basically being, you know, everything is basically like money is basically can be anything that you see value in. Like, so I like that already. But let me just go back because I got distracted because I was like, wait, what? I'm like, they're definitely like a mint thing, because like that's what it looks like. It's printing like money already. I like the drums there. But I wonder what like the bones are. I don't think. I guess fossils do have some worth too, but. Oh, pig. Everything has like a price. The Weimaraner having money in its mouth. Oh, that fits in with like their whole theme of green green. It was a lot more than they thought, huh? And then putting the chorus ball in there. Oh, like bees to like honey, or bees to like flowers. A CORTIS coin. Oh, okay. I kind of like that because it obviously some of their songs always like it always seems like it's so random, but they put like more meaning into it because it's again them addressing that like basically the world sadly like revolves around like money, because like you have to have it to be able to survive. Like it's a mean of survival because you can't buy anything without it. But obviously back in the day, like it was whatever you saw value in to like trade, because people used to trade back in the day. So I like that again, the beginning of it showed you like different things like that have value depending on like if it's something you are in need of or something you want. So they kind of went from there. I am curious about like the bones things too, because like obviously I could say like fossils are like worth like money too, because like it's something about like the past. But I'm just like, it was interesting to see like all the like the that and like quote unquote like carcasses too. But then we got to see like that pig at like a live pig looking at like the flower. So like that was kind of interesting to see. Like I wonder like what more in depth like that's supposed to mean. But aside from that, like everything else kind of made sense. Like all of the like the visuals definitely made the whole song like more apparent of what like the meaning was. And I think it's just funny like the whole like them talking about like, oh, I bought like a bag like and I brought it back, and then I didn't realize like basically like it was like a splurge that you decided to do, but then you weren't expecting it to have more of like an extra charge whenever you like leave the country, because you know everyone kind of like taxes you depending on like what item it is. Like everyone has their own like country has like their own like tax like things. So like I remember in Thailand whenever we were leaving, like if you like bought you have, like there's like certain qualifications that you got to like basically get that money you spent like tax on, essentially, like if it was like a big purchase. So it's kind of like along the lines of like that, where like if you bought like something that's worth a lot of money and they either like take off the taxes depending on what it is. So it's kind of like, oh, trying to like save, or trying to like, oh, you thought it was like a good deal or a good splurge for you, but then it ended up being a little bit more expensive than you initially thought, and you're just like, oh, kind of like either regret buying it, or you're just like, oh no, it's like fine, like I don't care, like it just depends on how you see it. So there's a lot of meanings in it, but I am curious again, like a little bit then to explain, if they do get to explain in the behind the scenes of them making this, if they do another behind the scenes kind of like how we saw for the what's it called, motion visualizer, because I liked kind of seeing the little snippet of behind the scenes, because it kind of gives us like, more intel on what the concept of it all was. But I think it's pretty apparent what it's about, like just how, yeah, like again, I was not a big fan of like them like sometimes talking like for motion specifically, like them there's like a certain topic in there that I was like, oh, like I'm not a big fan of, like kind of going more mainstream of like, you know, the rapper like topics that we always see, like where it's always like money or like girls or like parties and stuff like that. But obviously like I mentioned, I was like, oh, it probably was like Juicy J's like you know, his like topic or whatever, and they kind of mentioned that in the Tableau podcast. So I was like, okay, like that kind of figured that made sense. So like for here, it's, yeah, they're talking about like money, but they are putting a little bit more meaning into it, because it's not just them about like them spending it, like all the visuals and stuff like that, makes it seem like, oh, like, you know, in this day and time, like especially like in the States, I don't know if it's like that in any other country right now, but like the economy is like pretty much like whack right now. So like everything is like more expensive than it used to be, and it's always like constantly fluctuating. So it's kind of like drawing attention to that as a topic and that as an issue, especially again if you are from the States and you are like we're all experiencing that fluctuation of like things being a little bit more expensive than they used to be, and like every year it kind of gets worse. So yeah, it's just up to your interpretation essentially, but I enjoyed it, I liked it. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next song. Okay, and I just realized like the title of it reminds me of the like what's it called, the random like not random, like their first like video vlog that they ended up doing for their like channel, like where it was like them packing for whatever trip or whatever, cleaning up. So like I don't wonder if that's supposed to be like a nod to that, or if they already had like made this song and like they already had like teased it or dropped it, because I know there's a bunch of times whenever they do lives and they kind of like make like music on the lives, or like kind of are messing with like beats and stuff like that, and kind of showing us like a process of like how it works, and then they end up actually, obviously like for acai and stuff like that, like those were actually like spoilers, but it depends on like if you actually watch like those videos too. But I wonder if like y'all let me know if this was already like in teased or whatever by one of the members during like a live or something, because I feel like it's referencing like that vlog for me. Oh. 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 Okay. This is like very much reminding me of that vlog. Hey. This does remind me because they were arguing about like t-shirts and that. Hey. That James and like Joohoon line though like reminds me again of that vlog because like they were like on them for messing around when they were supposed to be doing stuff. Hey. Okay, that so far like both the vibes of the songs kind of remind me a little bit obviously of like Motion, and it also reminds me of what's it called? Of Young Creator Crew, because like I don't know, just like more how more edgy I guess like the beat is, and like it's kind of like I think it's like a little bit more like I don't want to say like modern, but like more like again more I don't know, it's just like different. I think definitely different from what we've heard from them, but I'm not really surprised because I'm pretty sure they're gonna end up going like doing a little something different, like experimenting like every along the way as they always do, and like I feel like maybe next album they might do a little something more like this, but it's nice for a repackage because it gives you again like maybe a little bit of like a tidbit or like a little bit more of like a look into like how much they like change or like what they wanted to add but didn't necessarily make it the first time in the original album. And they're like, oh, we're gonna make a repackage like album, don't worry about it, so like you can add those on if you want, or if you like we'll add them in later on anyways. But again, this song definitely like reminds me of like whenever they like messed around in that first vlog video where James and Joohoon like were pretty much like that was like obviously our like first introduction to them as a group. So it's like, oh, like it's kind of giving like that vibe of whenever I watched it and I was like, oh my god, like James and Joohoon like are like obviously like the older two members, and the rest of them are all young, so they kind of have to be a little bit more on them, and they're a little bit quote unquote more like chill. Obviously this is like way before like James, like we saw a lot more like James being all of them are a little bit quirky, right? But at that point I was just like, oh, like they're just being crazy and chaotic, and these two are just like, yeah, we need to hurry up because we got somewhere to be tomorrow and you need to have everything figured out. So it's like kind of them like adding in that verse that mentions both of them kind of like reminds me of them standing outside of the room while these three were kind of like rapping and like messing around and like not really necessarily like basically prolonging the what's it called? What they were supposed to be doing, which was like packing for wherever they were gonna go. So I think that's funny, but also since their year anniversary just like passed, it kind of is like again like going like a whole full circle moment where like it's referencing that like those first few like videos of them that we saw, or if not the first video that we saw of them, and like where we got to see a little bit more of their character and how you know, young and like silly and crazy and random they are. So it's kind of like again basically it makes sense because it's like them like what's it called, recalling that memory, or like basically like making you remember, or like kind of what's it called, establishing like that they're still kind of maybe the same people, like those same like 5 kids that we saw when they first got like what's it called, they first debuted. But yeah, so for that, and then obviously Money Money, I think Money Money Money, like that actually kind of reminds me, like the title now that I think about it reminds me of like BTS, because like of Bita Numar, like where it says that in the song. So like maybe like that could also be like you could reference it to that, because obviously BTS is their like somebody's like they're the first group for Big Hit. But also like that one, I think it makes sense with the album because it's talking about something a little bit more like serious, kind of like with them and the rest of the album. How I was saying like that they're showing us like them addressing like all of the what's it called, either backlash or all of the like attention that they have now experienced, and like the tiring schedules of like, you know, them still being young but still like now having to kind of put the younger version of them aside like for the most part, because they are not established artists and they have to act as such, even though we all know they still mess around. But there are those pressures that come to, you know, training in your like childhood, because, you know, they were all pretty young and three of the members are still young. I mean, they're all young, but like teenagers. So like seeing that transition and them kind of like the money part, like again, tackling like an issue that I feel like a lot of us can relate to, and then them probably like it can also be taken that, you know, they, especially with like how we see like in their vlogs of them still like being more cautious of like, yes, we're like artists, but just because we like have already like been established as like idols and like we already debuted does not mean that we are making crazy money yet. Kind of like in the Paris like vlog that we saw where they were like, oh yeah, no, it's still too expensive, like they're still cautious. Well, some of them are still cautious because obviously we saw like Martin being like, oh no, that's fine, but then James was over here like giving him like a whole, like basically putting in his 2 cents like on like his own commentary, like what he would do or whatever, like on the side, right? But it kind of reminds me a little bit of that, kind of them being like, oh, we're still young, we're not making crazy money yet, so we're still a little bit more cautious, and we're very much like trying to be more careful with that and not go too crazy just because we've already been, you know, we're quote unquote like idols, so that you necessarily like you immediately think that we make that like we're making like that much money or like from this, because no, we're still young, we're still fresh. Like maybe like basically reminding you that they are still human, they are still young, they haven't made it that big yet, even though they have really grown like really quickly and very like have gotten a lot of attention, that we like it just has grown like really quickly essentially. But just reminding you that they are like still young and they are like kind of humble, but also like down to earth, where like yes, money still matters to them, because like they're not trying to spend crazy amounts of money, and it's something relatable that I think everyone can again has experienced, or like is very much like, oh, I'm trying to save for something, because you kind of have to earn it and work hard for it, because it kind of means that too, in my opinion, or what's how I took it. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I shall see you in the next one.